It's Princess Beatrice, who of course was mocked roundly over the years for her dress sense, notably the hat that she wore to William and Kate's wedding in 2011. It was positioned as, it looked like fallopian tubes.
Royal fashion is supposed to be flawless, elegant dresses, perfect hats, and not a single rule out of place. But every once in a while, someone steps out in an outfit so shocking that the entire world stops and stares.
There were so many memes. Well, I think it was before meme time, but it was, you know, like it just was, she was so roundly mocked, her and her sister, for being the worst dressed royal. So this is a step up, and she got a new stylist 6 years ago.
From bizarre fascinators that broke the internet to dresses that had fashion critics raising their eyebrows, some of her looks didn't just bend royal protocol, they completely shattered it. Yet behind every headline-making outfit lies a moment that stunned the public, sparked wild reactions, and left people asking the same question. What was she really thinking? The woman who dared to break the rules in plain sight, turning scrutiny into style evolution. The electric blue bridesmaid rebellion. Let's start with a royal wedding moment that made people look twice at their televisions. At first, everything appeared extremely royal. The large backdrop, the well-dressed guests, and the soothing pastels that flowed through the chapel. Then, out of nowhere, one gown made onlookers stop and think, wait a second, did she really wear that to a royal wedding? That's exactly what happened on October 12, 2018, during the wedding of Princess Eugenie and Jack Brooksbank at the breathtaking St. George's Chapel. Cameras flashed. Guests filled the historic chapel. Millions around the world tuned in to watch the royal celebration unfold. Everything looked like a picture-perfect fairy story until one color suddenly stood out in the crowd. Electric blue. Standing proudly beside the bride was Princess Beatrice, serving as maid of honor for her younger sister. And the moment she stepped into view, viewers noticed something unusual. Instead of wearing a dress that blended with the rest of the bridal party, Beatrice appeared in a bold electric blue gown paired with a matching headband. The color wasn't subtle. It wasn't quiet. It was bright, vibrant, and impossible to ignore. At first glance, the outfit looked elegant. The shade complemented Beatrice's complexion, and the dress itself had a clean, modern silhouette. But in royal weddings, elegance isn't the only rule that matters. Tradition matters just as much. And this is where things became complicated. In royal wedding etiquette, bridesmaids usually follow a very simple tradition. They match. Their dresses are coordinated so the entire group creates a harmonious look around the bride. The goal is simple. Nothing distracts from the bride's big moment. But Beatrice's electric blue look didn't blend into Eugenie's soft ivory wedding aesthetic at all. Instead, it stood out like a bright splash of color in the official photos. Next to Eugenie's delicate ivory gown with its subtle floral details, the blue dress almost glowed under the chapel lights. It was striking, dramatic, and according to many fashion watchers, completely unexpected. Fashion commentator Victoria Arbiter later explained the tradition clearly. At royal weddings, bridesmaids' dresses are usually designed to match, so the visual focus stays on the bride. When that tradition is broken, people notice immediately. And notice they did. Within minutes of the ceremony, photos appearing online, the reactions began pouring in. Some viewers were surprised. Others were confused. A few even wondered if the color choice had been planned, or if it had simply gone unnoticed during the final fittings. But the internet had its own opinion. Social media lit up with debates. Some people praised the boldness of the look, calling it refreshing and confident. Others joked that the electric blue dress looked like a fashion highlighter next to the softer tones of the ceremony. Yet through all the chatter and commentary, one thing remained clear. Beatrice looked completely confident. She didn't seem embarrassed. She didn't try to hide in the background. Instead, she stood proudly beside her sister, smiling warmly and greeting guests like any proud maid of honor would. The bright dress didn't shake her confidence one bit. And that's what made this moment so interesting, because it quietly hinted at something about Beatrice's style that would become clearer over time. She wasn't always interested in blending into royal expectations. While many royal outfits aim for safe elegance, Beatrice sometimes leaned toward bold choices that caught attention, choices that sparked conversation, and sometimes choices that left royal watchers scratching their heads. And strangely enough, this moment would soon feel tame compared to what came next. Because not long after this wedding, Beatrice would wear an accessory so unusual, so unforgettable, that the entire internet would explode with jokes, memes, and comparisons no royal hat had ever faced before: the black veil misstep. Let's move to March 2022, a moment that had royal watchers raising eyebrows and protocol experts clutching their pearls. The occasion was the Thanksgiving service for Prince Philip at Westminster Abbey, a solemn gathering to honor the late Duke. Guests expected quiet elegance, restrained black attire, and carefully measured decorum. And for the most part, that's what they got, except for one jaw-dropping outfit that quietly, but very visibly, broke the rules. Princess Beatrice came in a black coat dress that fit her well and a big headband with a veil on top. At first, it seemed like a polite choice: black for mourning, a veil for solemnity, and a calm silhouette that could have come right out of a book on royal etiquette. But everyone who knew how to act around royalty right away saw the problem. Black facial coverings are used for funerals honoring a king or queen, not for memorial services or Thanksgiving ceremonies. Victoria Arbiter, a well-known royal analyst, said clearly, "Wearing a facial veil is a sign of respect for the dead. Black veils are exclusively worn at funerals to honor a dead king or queen, according to royal tradition." The response was quick and electric. The tabloids called the costume a sweet way to pay respects, which showed that they understood the meaning behind it. But they also said it did not align with protocol, which showed how Beatrice had broken the tacit rules about how royals should wear. People on social media reacted in the same way. Some appreciated the gesture, saying it was emotional and personal, while others made fun of it, saying it was an over-the-top attempt at drama and mocking that she looked like she was preparing to feature in a Gothic catwalk show instead of a serious memorial. People started sharing memes of the big headpiece, making funny similarities between it and spaceships and the weird hats seen during Fashion Week. This costume said a lot about the impossible balance royal women have to strike between their feelings and what people expect of them, beyond the jokes and criticism. Beatrice wasn't attempting to get attention by acting out. She was sad. She was showing her sadness in public by wearing a black veil as a personal memorial to someone she had known and respected all her life. But even this honest gesture went against regulations about how royals should dress that had been around for hundreds of years, causing a conflict between personal expression and formality. The glance was a clear reminder that even good intentions are looked at closely in royal life. Bare legs at a funeral. April 17, 2021. Windsor Castle was cloaked in black as the world gathered to honor Prince Philip. The solemn air demanded prim, protocol-perfect royal elegance. Enter Princess Beatrice, dressed in a long black collared coat, paired with a sleek black velvet fascinator. At first glance, she seemed flawless, respecting the gravity of the occasion. But then your eyes drifted downward, and there it was. Bare legs, no nude stockings, Not a single sheer layer to soften the ensemble. Royal fashion rules are rarely written in stone, but some are unshakable. Victoria Arbiter, a leading commentator on royal style, didn't mince words when speaking to Insider. In other words, Beatrice had committed a cardinal offense in the eyes of the etiquette police. While the rest of the outfit adhered to the strict mourning code, the absence of stockings created a jarring visual dissonance, a subtle rebellion at the most highly scrutinized royal moment. Social media had a field day. Twitter exploded with memes and comments, many pointing out the huge no-no. Some users joked that she had decided to turn the funeral into a fashion runway, while others called it a bold statement in defiance of centuries-old tradition. Even serious fashion critics couldn't help but weigh in, calling the look a shocking breach during one of the most closely watched events of the royal calendar. Every camera angle, every broadcast still, magnified the tiny detail that sent etiquette enthusiasts into a frenzy. The narrator in the example video summed it up perfectly. While the royal did follow the traditional protocol for funerals by wearing all black, she was also breaking it at the same time because she wasn't wearing any pantyhose. That simple, almost invisible choice became the story. It wasn't about color, silhouette, or accessories. It was about a single, unexpected deviation from a steadfast rule. But let's pause for a moment. Grief was the backdrop. Families mourned. The world mourned. And Beatrice, like everyone else in the Abbey, was navigating a moment of deep, personal, and public sorrow. The missing stockings weren't a stunt. They were likely a practical choice, a small comfort in a tense and emotional situation. Yet, in royal life, nothing happens in a vacuum. Even the most subtle wardrobe decisions are dissected frame by frame. The line between mourning and media spectacle is razor-thin, and Beatrice's bare legs landed squarely on the wrong side for some observers. Thigh-high tucks, dress, and bold lip. In 2015, Princess Beatrice turned heads at a high-profile Alexander McQueen gala, and not just because she arrived on the arm of a dashing companion. She stepped out in a sleeveless black tuxedo gown, the kind of outfit that screams Hollywood red carpet, not stately royal event. But that's exactly what made it so deliciously eyebrow-raising. The dress featured a thigh-high slit that left little to the imagination, paired with black cutout stilettos that could easily have doubled as a daredevil stunt. And she topped it off with bold, fiery red lipstick. For a royal, it was basically a neon sign flashing, "I'm doing my own thing." Now, let's talk rules. Royals rarely show this much skin. Even sleeveless dresses are approached with caution. Alexandra Messervy, fashion expert, explained to InStyle, "They don't usually wear sleeveless dresses, not too short in the hemline." And the lipstick? Royals traditionally stick to neutral, understated shades: peach, nude, soft pink. Red lips at a formal royal gala? That's protocol flirting on the edge of scandal. Guests and critics alike were instantly divided. Some called it daring and glamorous. Others whispered about how it was frowned upon by the Queen herself. The thigh-high slit was especially bold. Royal events are steeped in decorum, where elegance means coverage and control. Beatrice's daring cut was more than a style choice. It was a statement. Social media, of course, had a field day. Memes circulated comparing the slit to everything from a spaceship window to a staircase to scandal, and fashion blogs dissected every angle of her look. Some critics argued that the combination of sleeveless structure, sky-high slit, and red lips was almost too much for palace standards, but that was exactly Beatrice's point. This was part of her pre-marriage experimentation phase, a time when she was exploring how to balance individuality with royal expectation. Every accessory, every daring hemline was a test. How far could she push, and how would the world react? The McQueen Gala became a landmark in this phase. Photos of her walking into the venue, camera flashes reflecting off the glossy fabric, instantly went viral. Fans applauded her confidence, while traditionalists shook their heads, muttering about decorum and royal image. The internet-famous fascinator disaster. April 29, 2011. The wedding of Prince William and Kate Middleton. The world watched as royals filed into Westminster Abbey, each outfit perfectly polished, every hat carefully chosen. Among them was Princess Beatrice, wearing a nude Valentino haute couture dress that looked elegant but understated. Everything might have been fine if it weren't for the headpiece. On her head sat a fascinator so unusual it instantly drew attention and disbelief. People called it a pretzel hat, or even a spaceship, while some joked it looked like a toilet seat. It was completely unlike anything else at the wedding. The fascinator became an instant sensation. Social media exploded, and a Facebook group dedicated to mocking the hat grew to 130,000 members. Photos were zoomed in, memes spread, and fashion blogs debated whether it was daring or just completely out of place. It wasn't just a quirky accessory, it became a symbol of bold rule-breaking, a reminder that even a single headpiece could steal the spotlight at a royal event. While everyone else followed the unwritten rules of subtle, coordinated hats, this headpiece disrupted the harmony. Its loops, twists, and exaggerated shape drew all eyes, overshadowing the careful coordination of the other guests. What might have been playful or stylish in another setting turned into a shocking statement in the tightly controlled world of royal fashion. The reactions were intense. Newspapers described the fascinator as outlandish and shocking, while internet users turned it into a meme that lasted for years. Beatrice's look was discussed endlessly, proving that one bold choice could dominate conversation more than the bride or the ceremony itself. People didn't just notice it, they couldn't stop looking at it. This moment was more than a fashion mistake. It marked an important point in Beatrice's style journey. It showed that she was willing to take risks and stand out, even if it meant drawing criticism. The fascinator disaster became a turning point, the beginning of a fashion evolution where she learned to express herself boldly and confidently. Each unusual choice afterwards could be traced back to this moment when her style first caught the public's attention in a way that was unforgettable. Even though the hat drew mockery and memes, it was also a signal of independence. Beatrice was discovering that fashion could be her voice, a way to assert her personality within a world full of rules and expectations. This single accessory set the tone for her future, showing that she could take bold steps while learning how to navigate public attention and royal protocol. Headband over hat and strapless cleavage. May 19, 2018, the wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. While most female guests opted for elaborate fascinators or traditional hats, Beatrice took a noticeably different approach. She chose a simple headband to complement her turquoise Roxanda Viola dress, which featured sheer sleeves and delicate beading. It was elegant on its own, but skipping the hat entirely broke royal tradition. For decades, women at formal royal weddings were expected to wear headpieces, and Beatrice's minimal approach immediately drew attention. The choice wasn't loud or dramatic in color like her infamous blue bridesmaid dress, but it was shocking in its subtle defiance of the rules. This wasn't the first time she had pushed the boundaries of formality. Back in August 2011, at Petra Ecclestone's wedding, she had worn a strapless dress that showed cleavage, something generally frowned upon in royal fashion circles. Strapless gowns have always been controversial for royals because they reveal more skin than traditional expectations allow. These two events, separated by 7 years, highlighted a clear pattern. Beatrice was willing to bend or even break unwritten dress codes, prioritizing her personal style over strict protocol. Royal etiquette experts have explained why these choices matter. Diana Mather noted on the BBC, "Up until the 1950s, ladies were very seldom seen without a hat. Hats are now reserved for more formal occasions. Skipping a hat or fascinator might seem like a minor detail, but in the world of royal appearances, it's a significant breach of tradition." Beatrice's decision to go headband only subtly rebelled against a centuries-old expectation, quietly challenging the idea that she must always fit a specific mold. Reactions were mixed. Fashion commentators described her as standing out for the wrong reasons. Some admired the simplicity and modern touch, seeing her choices as confident and fashion-forward. Others thought she was flouting etiquette, particularly given the memory of her 2011 fascinator disaster, which had already made headlines and internet memes. Social media buzzed with debates. Was it a bold statement of individuality, or another royal misstep? Either way, it reinforced the idea that Beatrice's style could spark conversation without the need for bright colors or extreme accessories. Emotionally, these choices revealed something deeper about Beatrice's relationship with tradition. Unlike some royals who strictly follow every protocol, she seemed willing to experiment, even in highly scrutinized settings. The headband at Harry and Meghan's wedding and the strapless dress at Ecclestone's wedding were not just fashion statements, they were signals of independence. They showed that Beatrice was exploring her identity in a world where every outfit is analyzed, every deviation magnified. These moments also marked her evolution as a royal fashion figure. She was learning to balance individuality with protocol, testing limits in ways that were sometimes awkward or controversial, but always eye-catching. Both the strapless dress and the headband highlighted her emerging pattern of thoughtful rebellion, choosing elements that reflected her personality while still honoring the occasion in her own way. Nude navy lace and see-through monstrosity. At a glamorous 2017 V&A museum party, Beatrice stepped onto the red carpet in a nude navy lace dress that instantly divided opinion. The dress was delicate, intricate, and daring. Its sheer panels revealed more than most royal outfits ever do. Adding to the shock, she skipped stockings, a move that instantly caught the attention of etiquette watchers and fashion critics alike. The combination of see-through lace and bare legs made it a jaw-dropping moment, and tabloids didn't hold back, calling the outfit a monstrosity and a bold breach of royal modesty. The dress was structured with intricate navy lace over nude fabric, creating a teasing illusion of transparency. From the front, the gown shimmered with delicate embroidery and lace detailing, but the semi-sheer panels left little to the imagination. In royal circles, this level of skin exposure was rare, and the absence of stockings amplified the unconventional effect. Social media exploded with memes. Photos zoomed in, and commentators debated whether it was edgy fashion or an etiquette nightmare. The dress was not loud in color like some of her previous gowns, but its transparency made it impossible to ignore. Critics immediately labeled it inappropriate, highlighting the modesty violation. Unlike traditional royal dresses, which are designed to be elegant without drawing attention to the body, this gown flouted unwritten rules. The transparency and bare legs made it a talking point for weeks. Headlines described it as "out with modesty, in with daring experimentation," while fashion pages compared it to the kind of bold risk usually reserved for avant-garde runway shows. Yet, it wasn't sloppy or careless. It was precise, intentional, and unapologetically modern. Emotionally, the outfit reflected Beatrice's single-year experimentation phase, a time when she explored her own style without the constraints of imminent marriage or future protocol-heavy events. She was testing limits, taking fashion risks, and learning how far she could bend royal rules without entirely breaking them. Each daring choice, including this sheer lace moment, contributed to her evolution as a royal who could balance rebellion with sophistication. It was about personal expression as much as it was about aesthetics. The look also highlighted the ongoing tension between tradition and individuality in royal fashion. Every inch of fabric, every layer, is usually scrutinized for protocol adherence. By wearing something so revealing, Beatrice reminded everyone that royal style is not only about deference, it can also be a tool for self-expression. She challenged centuries of conservative expectation, daring viewers to reconsider what a princess could wear without losing elegance. Despite the criticism, the nude navy lace dress became a defining moment in Beatrice's style journey. It marked a clear pattern. She was unafraid to experiment, to take risks, and to redefine royal fashion boundaries. Even in the face of mockery, her choices showed confidence and determination, laying the groundwork for the polished, self-assured looks she would later embrace. This see-through ensemble wasn't just a dress. It was a statement that individuality and elegance can coexist, even within the strictest royal traditions. Borrowed wedding ensemble and mini-skirts. Beatrice's 2020 wedding to Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi wasn't just a fairy tale moment. It was another chance to bend royal rules in her own quietly bold way. Instead of commissioning a brand new wedding gown, she borrowed and subtly altered a vintage dress originally worn by Queen Elizabeth. Royal tradition has long held that brides wear custom-made designs, so using a pre-existing gown, even with modifications, raised eyebrows. Photographers, fashion commentators, and royal watchers couldn't stop talking about it. The familiar shape of the Queen's gown was instantly recognizable, but the alterations made it distinctly Beatrice's own. It was elegant, yes, but protocol-wise, it was a tiny rebellion wrapped in satin and lace. This choice highlighted her willingness to respect heritage while still asserting individuality. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic like a neon dress or an outlandish fascinator, but it spoke volumes about her approach to royal life. Beatrice was subtly redefining expectations. She could honor tradition without being a rigid rule follower. In many ways, this was a turning point, moving from the single-year experimental, eye-catching ensembles into a more sophisticated, confident phase of her style evolution. The wedding gown wasn't her only daring fashion choice during this period. 4 years earlier, in 2016, she had been photographed at fashion events in mini-skirts, an unusually short hemline for a royal and a stark contrast to the long, demure dresses expected at official occasions. Even more eyebrow-raising, she attended an all-black gala outside of any official mourning period. Royals generally reserve head-to-toe black for funerals or memorials, so stepping out in full black for a celebratory event was a deliberate twist on traditional rules. Critics didn't hold back, describing it as out with modesty, in with mini-skirts, and noting that she was clearly experimenting with how far she could stretch the royal dress code. Taken together, these outfits told a story of transition. Beatrice wasn't chasing attention for the sake of shock. Each choice, borrowing a vintage gown, showing leg at fashion events, or wearing black outside mourning, demonstrated a growing confidence. She was learning how to balance individuality with her role in the royal family. The bold mini-skirts of 2016 hinted at playful rebellion, while the carefully altered wedding dress of 2020 showed refinement and maturity. It was evolution in real time, from protocol-bending outsider to a royal comfortable in her own fashion identity. social media and fashion blogs reacted with fascination. The vintage wedding gown inspired admiration for its elegance, yet whispers of protocol breaches persisted. The mini skirts and all-black gala outfits were polarizing. Some celebrated her fearless approach. Others tut-tutted at the perceived breaches. What became clear, however, was that Beatrice was no longer just the royal who occasionally stunned the cameras. She was a woman defining her own rules, blending heritage, elegance, and personal flair. Ultimately, these looks marked a phase of transformation. From bold experimentation to confident reinvention, Beatrice was proving that royal fashion could be both respectful and personal. She was quietly challenging expectations, showing that elegance doesn't have to mean rigidity, and that even a princess could redefine tradition on her own terms. Her wedding ensemble and transitional miniskirts were more than clothes. They were statements, signaling the confident reinvention of a royal learning to own her identity, from faux pas to fashion icon. In 2022, when the cameras turned to Beatrice, the princess who previously sparked viral fashion disputes had become a style expert in her own right. There were fascinators that looked like pretzels, dramatic gowns with thigh-high slits, and daring headbands during the rebellion era, which lasted from about 2011 to 2020. Every costume was criticized on social media, turned into memes, and commented on endlessly, making it even harder for a young queen to discover her voice. It wasn't simply terrible publicity back then, it was also the heavy burden of being visible before social media, when millions of people picked apart every choice. But once she was married, Beatrice's wardrobe changed a lot. Tatler dubbed her style an elegant evolution. The eye-catching mistakes were gone, and in their stead were stylish, confident outfits that followed royal history but yet let people show off their own style. Instead of crazy headpieces and cuts that were too bold, there were soft colors, clean lines, and wonderfully fitted silhouettes. But Beatrice's distinctive confidence stayed, gently letting everyone know that she had learned how to balance royal formality with her own style. Her transformation didn't just change how people saw her. It also had an effect on younger royals. People say that her ability to mix tradition with her own style is a guide for future generations. This shows that elegance and personality don't have to be at odds with each other. People often use Beatrice as an example in talks on royal relevance versus personality in 2026. She showed that a princess can go from being a problematic fashion mistake to a trend-setting icon without losing her authenticity. The main idea behind this reinvention arc is the difference between the strain before and after marriage. Before 2020, social media made her decisions seem even more important, so there wasn't much leeway for her to try new things without getting judged by millions of people. After getting married, she became more stable and had a better sense of who she was. Her clothes became a way to express herself confidently instead of provoking. Each costume showed that she had grown up, was confident, and knew her place in the royal family. Beatrice's path from faux pas to fashion superstar is more than just about her style. It's a lesson in how to be strong, grow, and change. What originally looked like mistakes that broke the rules now looks like a bold story of self-discovery, showing how even the most watched people can change, inspire, and make a lasting impression on the world of royal fashion. Princess Beatrice's transformation from shocking outfits to an admired style icon proves that boldness and confidence pay off. Love seeing her fashion evolution? Like, subscribe, and comment on your favorite Beatrice look. Don't forget to hit the bell to stay updated on all the royal style stories coming your way.